All right, everybody, welcome back to the Zoom call. Thank you. It seems like we're getting more and more people each day, and I'm sure we will as this continues. Of course, I took a lot of time out in order to build this product, so I am going to have to kind of dabble back outside a little bit and sort out some of my other business ventures that I've got going. But I'm not going to be ghost from here. I never am. I'm always pretty much going to be again in the group. I'm trying to be very active on YouTube and in the group and everything, like super active going into 2026. Um, I want it to be my breakthrough year where you start to see me excel into something great. And I would love to be able to take you guys and girls along with me as well at the same time, because why not? Literally, it's just why not? We're all on the come up here. And like I've always made very transparent, I'm not a 6 or 7 figure trader in the terms of I'm making 100K trades. I'm not. So we're technically all getting there together. So I think that's kind of really cool if we're able to actually get to that point. Do you understand? Where we get multiple people breaking through at the same time. I think that would be really epic. So yeah, we're gonna get into it today. Let's start off with this free group. The free group that you're seeing in front of you on Telegram. It's going to be in the description below. And this group just shows you everything I'm updating with Neo as the time goes on. Pretty much almost every day I've been adding 1 or 2 new updates to Neo, which will go over in the course of this Zoom call. This is just my settings for Neo. So if anyone does join Neo, a lot of people say how to set it up. A lot of it is on default settings, pardon me, but just to make sure you've got like the settings I'm using 99% of the time, you're gonna have it here basically, which is gonna be all right for you. So you can just get yourself up to a very good standard, pretty much of what I have on Neo. Again, a lot of it is set as default, but if not, all the settings are there. What else did I want to do? This is what I wanted to do here. So we're gonna scroll down here, boom, cool, just on a quick one. And here we're going to see, look, so this is the whole point of why I've added Neo to the win rate system to Neo to the charts. Can I make it big? No, I don't think you're going to be able to see that unless I go to my browser. All right, cool. Let me do this then. Um, Share screen. We'll go to Chrome. So I just clicked on the extension. You should be able to see the Chrome at the moment, the browser. Yeah. Boom, and you can see now with Euro USD, this is where it started. So this gentleman that's in the group started from 2005 using the win rate module on, so it's the win rate table, part of the Neo indicator trading suite. And obviously this is where he started from. And then what he did is he did 20 years worth of data. So I'm just going to go open the other one. So it should open up in a second. Let's move this out of the way. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. Here we go. So you should be able to see this one now. And after 20 years worth of data, so coming into today's market, as you can see, this shows you with this is just one pair. You guys and girls, once you get Neo, it's lifetime access. Message me and I'll explain everything you need to know. We don't need to go over all price and all that stuff, but just message me. The links for to get through to me is in the description below. You can see here that with Euro USD with a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio and 2,188 trades taken, it tells you the wins to the losses. This Neo produced a 42.41 win rate, which is absolutely epic and amazing because you know once you've got your win rate broken down, you can work out. You don't need to work out how much risk to reward you need to take with Neo. Sorry, it's already done that for you. You don't need to understand when you do your maths what the win rate is because it's already done that for you. So literally all you have to do is just trade comfortably and you can start working out, okay, if I've got this risk to reward and this win rate, how long does it take me in order for me to make 5K, 10K, pass a prop firm account or do anything like that, even trade a live account. You can start doing all those maths. You can just go to like Chat GPT and you can work out those maths. It's pretty simple. Just type it in Google. I'm sure it'll be able to work it out for you. I showed pretty much a basis of that in the last video. So yeah, this is something really cool that we're able to see, and other people can go back and do this themselves on any pair. You can figure out what the best risk to reward is, and how it works. What I've noticed is that you're never really going to be a 1 to 1 risk to reward. It increases your win rate extremely high. You're going to get probably like a 68 to 70% win rate if you've got a 1 to 1 R on these setups. So it's pretty crazy when you break it down. But of course, a lot of people are not comfortable trading a 1 to 1 R. Maybe it's a psychology thing. Who knows? But yeah, so a 1 to 2, I like to say, is probably the Goldilocks zone. But naturally, I leave mine on 1 to 3. But at least I know if this data shows me 1 to 2, if price action gives me a trade and goes at least a 1 to 2 R, I can very much consider to close the trade at this point. literally. And that's what I think is so fantastic. It just gets you in that mode where you're like, look, I've gone 1 to 2R. I'm either going to take partial profits, put a break even, or close the trade out at this point because statistically, we've got a very systematic mathematical system here. Statistically, it tells me price action has a 42% percent win rate at going 1 to 2R. So why am I going to use my emotional side to tell me to hold this to 1 to 5? And then if you end up losing the trade or closing at break even, you can only really kind of blame itself at that point because it's literally broken down all the maths for you to tell you that. Um, Boom, boom, boom. Can you go over USD, JPY? IFVG is one. Yes, I will do. Let me go over gold first, just for the people in here. At first, give me 1 second, please, mate. 1 second. I'm just going to stop the share, get my chart up, and then bring it back up for you if that's okay. 1 second. So just give me 1 second. Should still be recording. Uh, all right, cool. Just go here. Zoom. Boom, boom, boom. We should still be recording, I hope. Yes, we are. Cool. All right, so let's go over gold first. So I gave an analysis and a breakdown on gold yesterday. What's it considered? Wow, consecutive trades, loser or winner. Yeah, of course. I'll get into that bit in a bit, Miguel. Just give me a second. Let me just go into this one. We'll get into that in 1 second. And if I forget, bring it back up that question, please. Yeah. When I say, is there any questions, then we can speak about it. I just don't want the Zoom call to be too boring for people that are actually watching it on YouTube, if that makes sense. So I want it to be obviously full of action for them. So yeah, so as we can see here, for gold, I gave this analysis yesterday, clear as day for everyone. I explained and showed them that Neo's telling us there's a lot of buying pressure happening on gold right now when we're looking at a 4 hour time frame. I like to use the 4 hour daily and weekly. We could see that we have bullish 4 hour IFVGs. At the time, it wasn't so many bars ago. Obviously, prices moved from yesterday. But then we still had the daily bullish IFVG as well. So we've got a 4 hour and daily time frame in terms of their IFVGs. That's their inversion fair value gaps that have come together, telling us that a trade setup in terms of structure, not in terms of the short and long tool that appears, just in terms of like structure and what's happening with the mechanics behind the candlesticks, let's say. It's telling us that we're going more bullish than bearish. We could see that we had higher highs and higher lows were forming because this was staying green. It wasn't going grey for a bearish. I believe we had a change of character at that time, if I'm correct. We did, but I've got something that basically this table has a certain amount of candlesticks that happen, so that have passed. So I've got a setting filter on here, which everyone has as well, where you can change. Where is it? Flash color. Boom, here. So if you change this flash color, you can change the table and how long you want it to flash a certain color for, basically. So I've noticed that the sweet spot is around about 5. So then after 5, price action might actually be turning over the other way. So even if it's still bullish or bearish, whether it's structure or IFVGs or higher highs, higher lows, whatever, you might want to consider if you want to take that trade because this is an older trend. It's basically telling you it's an older trend. Is what it's trying to tell you. So it doesn't mean it's not sufficient. You still can't take it, but now you can approach with caution. Maybe you're not going to use your usual 1% risk. You might say, okay, I'm going to use 0.25. If I lose, at least I don't lose a lot. If I win, at least I made some money this day or this week or whatever it might be for you. Yeah. So that's how that's based. So let's just close this out. Cool. So we can see even here with structure, we had a daily bullish break of structure as well. So this was a very good setup for us to say, look, price action should be continuing buys. I also showed people that when you use the structure tool that's added to Neo, you can use those to draw yourself out support and resistance very simply by just drawing from the top of the structure to wherever the candle closed or opened. So obviously we saw the buy up here, and where was the most recent structure to the left of the chart? This is not a strategy, people. This is me just teaching you how to actually trade, but the indicator is giving you help. The strategy is automatic in Neo, people. It's automatic. It will automatically show you when to buy or sell and give you all of the information. But this is just so people can obviously have the product, but not just see it as just a buy and sell tool as well. That you can do a bit more with it if you want to. So you can see here, boom. So we had the lower high here, and when we had the lower high, we had price action break out of here on Friday. So I told people that, okay, this is a retest area here, and this is also a retest area up here. So more than likely, price action is going to buy, and it's going to keep buying up, and it's going to hold this area. So as soon as the market opened, anyone could have got in this buy setup, literally just based on the fact of these tables here telling you that look for buy trades. You even have the confluences at this time. I think it was a C or a D. Obviously, as it's moved now it's come to a B, etc. And you can see the how many candlesticks ago this happened. So this is recent, these ones, and the C1 is. But as we were here, it would have come up with a setup. So let me just show you. Boom. Let me just show you for the people to see. We'll go from here. Boom. Yeah. Just so people can see that everything is legitimate. Legitimate. Boom. So we had an A 3 bars ago. We had a B 2 bars ago. So this was about two candlesticks ago. But we had a brand new D as well. So obviously it's telling you that there is a confluence that things are merging together on this table for price to buy. Obviously D being the lowest grade and A plus being the highest grade. So and we know that price has already been buying. So of course we can't expect it to just super buy up from here, but it can obviously still have some type of momentum. So the ones that were still apparent was the A and the B. So this is telling you that it was still in a strong enough buy trend for it to continue based on this confluence system that is reading what's on this table. You see? So it's automatically even telling you that as well, guys and girls. I kid you not. Then another one is the Oracle zone here. The Oracle zone is always going to show you where the most in that day, if price action's telling you that it can buy, or let's say Neo's telling you it can buy, in theory, the Oracle zone is telling you that, hey, if they are going to make this buy based on what Neo's showing you, it will be in this zone around here. Do you understand? And this is exactly what you see happening here. It didn't pull all the way back down here. Yeah, I'm not saying that's impossible, but it's telling you there's a very high probability if they are going to follow whatever you're looking at here, whether it's manually like this, looking at this stuff, or the confluences to say, hey, it's giving me an indication. This is the area where they should hold. Now, we already know that this zone is here, plus we have this structure point. This is how I was able to tell you that price action can continue to buy off of there. Now, let's go to where we are in present day for what gold can do. So obviously we know price has the highest high up here. Yeah, we know that now. So now we're looking at the zone up here now for gold. Okay, boom. So boom, boom. So we know this is the next one. So what we want price action to do now is, in theory, which will give us a great sign, is if they create another zone here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, yeah. I just want to change this color so you can see it. There, we want them to create another Oracle zone here. Now, just because they create another Oracle zone, it doesn't mean that they're 100% going for the buy. They could use that Oracle zone to now start slamming in a massive sell order. I'm not saying that that's the case at all. I'm not saying that, but I'm telling you what the probability is because price action is holding the buy structure and we're seeing buy inverted fair value gaps holding as well. So we're more than likely seeing that. And if we want to see this happen, yeah, the most logical thing for them to do based on structure, which the indicator is helping you with here, is literally this area here. So we want them to break above this high here. As we all know, price action has to break higher highs to to pull back, to create a new higher low to continue. So in theory, if you were being more of a little bit more of a patient trader, rather than just entering because we're on the break and retest zone, you can enter here, but obviously, you know that if they don't want to hold this structure no more, they're just going to go down. But if you want to say, okay, I'm waiting for a bit more confidence before I get in this trade, once this price breaks here, the table is now going to change to change of character one. So it just happened one candlestick ago. Once it breaks here, then you want price action to pull back into this area and then continue. Do you understand? So we won't even want it to we want it to continue to push up towards these areas here. This is the all-time highs and where our resistance is. So this is what we would like to see. So if you want to be a bit more of a safe trader, you want price action to do this. So I'm just going to mark these zones out here for people so they can get the levels. Give me a sec. So you want price action to break above, where is it? You want price action to break above 4265.3. Yeah. And when it does that, you want it to stay between 4265.3 and stay between 4249.9. So again, this video is going to be uploaded to YouTube so you can come back and watch it. and just skip to where you want to. But boom, we want price action to stay in between this level so it breaks, retests, and continues. And what would be epic is if they break, retest, create a higher low, then when it creates the higher low, you can now get in that trade for a bit more safer confirmation that, hey, price action broke higher, created a higher low, and now we're seeing it. It's something similar to what you see here, people. No different from what you see here. It's just been doing the same thing. Look, right here. You can see, boom. So it went up, created a higher high, created a higher low, and then pretty much bought up from there. This is the buy it was doing up from there. Boom, it created another higher high, higher low. Then it held this low. Imagine if your stop loss was there, it held this low, as you can see, and then bought up again. Then it created another high, created a higher low, and then bought up from there. So what do we expect it to do again, people? Let me see that in the comments. In the comment section. What do we expect price action to do again? If everyone's paying attention, let me see what you think it will do. Exactly, Nick. Exactly that. What's that? 4200, which is here. 4200 is around here. Yeah, no, it could easily do that. I'm not saying it couldn't. Because for me, I wouldn't trade gold on the buys now. I'm not looking for it because I think it's just too high. I'm just telling people what it could do. I want to see gold before I look for a buy. I'd rather want to see gold pull all the way back and then go for a new move. And realistically, what I want it to do is pull all the way back, come out of the daily bullish IFVG, preferably even create a daily bearish IFVG. If it does, it might continue to sell, and then go back round into a bullish IFVG on the daily. I've already managed to catch my buyers off of this. Right now, I'm not too sure. This is more for the scalping type person that wants to get in these trades, I would say. I don't look to take a trade opportunity on gold like every second like that. I just personally don't do it. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, completely up to you. But when I'm risking my capital, it's my capital. Do you know what I mean? So I don't feel safe trading it like that because we all know gold is at near an all-time high. And do they really want to sell it back down to correct this big move? Sorry, the big buy that it did for like almost 2 months, or do they want to actually buy it higher? Obviously there's going to be speculation out there that, oh, they're going to 5K or whatever they want to say. But at the same way, I can't go in just speculation. I don't want to lose my money. So I would rather I want to see the wheels turning. I want to now see it getting weaker, then stronger again for a bigger continuation. So for now, I would say that if you're looking for the smaller moves, definitely look for the continuation of the buys if it breaks above higher. Remember, you have to pay attention to what the market's telling you. And if it is creating new higher highs, then it should be creating a higher lower after. Unless we see price action now create a lower high and then break that higher low that it creates. So the lowest higher low right now is down here. So if it creates a new higher low and then breaks that higher low, then you can say, hold on, they might actually be reversing for sells. So a safer option for anybody here is either A, wait for it to break this higher zone, and then B, wait for it to create a higher low for a continuation, literally. Because what you want to know is if they're going to create even the higher low after they break this zone, you want to know if they're going to just buy. If they start buying, great, cool. But if you see them break the new higher low that forms, because remember, the higher low hasn't been formed for a while. So if they break lower than that higher low, this is going to change your character to bearish. So already from there, that's giving you an indication that basically, imagine there's 10 steps to either pick up the sell or the buy. We're already in like step 7 for the buy right now. So if they are going to start picking up the sells, and they create a bearish change of character, we're starting to get step 1 for possible sells coming in. Do you understand? So literally, however you want to trade, it's up to you. For me, I'm not in gold at the moment, but I'm just giving you my analysis so people can make their money if they trade that way. It's absolutely fine. But I'll tell people as clear as day, I don't feel safe trading gold how it is at the moment. It's kind of floating in the middle of thin air. I'm not saying it's not going to buy. Everything's telling us it should keep buying, but hey, it is what it is. And I'll give my analysis fair and square. Do you understand? Literally, if there was a clear signal of yes, enter buys, I will give it just like I always do. But all I can do is give an analysis right now. And I think that's fair for me to say. Is that cool for everyone to understand what I've just said there? You're looking for buys when it breaks above this higher high. And you could either just, once it gets above this higher high, you wait for the pullback, higher low, continuation. Or if it breaks above this high high, you can just get in. Depends on your methodology of trading. I would definitely say it's better to wait for the higher low when it's this high. Personally, I'll give you that. And then obviously, even if you do get in the buys and it's like you're losing the buy, if it closes with the 4 hour candle below that higher low that forms, then definitely get yourself out of the trade because it could be step one into the reversal pattern starting to appear. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So is that a good enough analysis for you guys and girls? Or is there any other questions for gold? This is what you get when you do Zoom calls with me. Even when I do market analysis and stuff like that. These are all things as time goes on. I'll probably get back into my Sunday market analysis and stuff like that, going through pairs. But yeah, does that make sense for everyone? So literally keep buying until a higher low is broken. If the higher low gets broken with a 4 hour candle, just let it go, man. Let it go. Don't try and fight it. Cool. So now someone said USD JPY and it was the bearish FVG. So what did you want to know? So you got a daily bearish IFVG. So USD JPY, yes, you have a daily bearish IFVG that has formed now because the market's closed. This is great. When the market opens, we could get a sell trade coming here. So it'll probably give you a short entry in this pair. Now, for me, what I do is I trade it with Dixie. So I like to see where Dixie is at the same time. This is what I like to see. And we have to all bear in mind this information. This is very, very good information. Remember, we're in the first week of the month. Doesn't mean you can't catch a trade, but I feel like you're still in a little bit of a guessing mode with this. Now, everything is showing us that we're starting to go bearish. We've got a bearish daily break of structure. We've got a new bearish IFVG, so that's a double sync. We've got a D trade setup coming here, which might trade change to a new D1 or C for this setup. As soon as the market opens, we're more than likely going to get a short tool with the Oracle tool appear with Neo like this. It's going to appear somewhere between here. Let's just say it appears like this, boom. Yeah, let's just say it does that. We're going to get a short and long tool. There's a good chance that we'll get that appearing for a continuation of a trade. Now, this is a good idea that yes, price action can continue to sell. One, the JPYs do need to correct themselves because USD JPY has this disgusting gap down here. Don't know if everyone's aware of that. So people just bear with me a second. Chart's running a bit slow. Here, where is it? Where's that gap gone? Is it? Oh, it's here. Sorry, my bad. There you go. So the gaps here, I marked it out. So there's this huge gap here that they need to correct with USD JPY. So I think technically what they're going to do at some weird point, whether it's now or the start of the year, they're going to do a massive sell to go close this gap. And then they can buy it back up or do whatever they want. But they have to, at some point, they have to close this gap. They're not going to just leave this gap here like this. I don't think so. It's not, I can say they have to close it, but they don't have to close it now, is what I'm trying to say. Like there's probably other gaps on the chart that have been left behind, but there's a very good chance where it's still here at the moment that they could close that gap on USD JPY. So yes, I will be entering and giving out this trade as a setup in the group. So this is a free trade I'm giving out right now for people to explain to them that hey, look for your possible sell continuations on USD JPY. It's literally a free trade. If it comes up with the Oracle short and long tool, yes, we're looking at sell continuations on this setup basically here. So that's that one there. Does that answer your question for whoever asked about USD JPY? I can't remember there was a question in there where someone asked about it. Does it answer it? Let me know. I don't know if they're still here, but yes, they asked about USD JPY anyway. And yeah, that's what we're basically looking for on USD JPY. I've got one account where I'm just literally trading all of these Neo trades anyway, just to show people the levels of consistency that Neo does have. So regardless, as long as it comes with that short and long term, I'm going to enter this trade. and everything's giving me the indication that it should. We can even see here, even though it's old, that we still have the change of character bearish. Obviously, that would change when this low gets broken, or if they create a higher low somewhere and it gets broken, it would change. So yes, I would. Now, this is just a bit of learning for everyone in here. So I might as well just drop this in here for you. This is the whole point of being able to join my Zoom calls. If you don't, then it's completely up to you. But if you do, you can learn something new every day. I trade all of the majors that I'm trading at the moment against the US dollar by itself. So Dixie, that's what I do. And I'm looking for trade setups based on Dixie. So we can see Dixie gave us a nice, this is how I was able to catch USD CHF today. I caught like a nice, like almost 60 pip sell, but I managed to fall asleep and then I had to close it at like 25 pip profit because I fell asleep when it did the big move. I've been up so long coding. That's why people. Give me a second. I just want to change the risk to reward. And you can see because today Dixie had the short and long tool here telling you to look for a possible sell trade setup. Boom. We can see that price action literally went about a 1 to 2.8. This is a 1 to 3R. I've changed the short and long tool too. Yeah, and it went to about 1 to 3.8. So if we can see here, the risk, the TP2 would have been 98779. So 98779. There you go. Boom. So you can obviously see TP2 was smashed right there. You see? So because this was telling me to look for a sell today, I was able to now go into USD CHF because it was the only one still hanging in thin air at the time. I was able to go back to USD CHF, yeah, and now look for a trade entry based on this basically here. And you can even see, just to show people that I'm not full Gaussian, you can see my gray box zone here. My gray box zone was based on the daily higher highs or higher lows forming. So I literally did the same thing. I just drew out the zone based on the daily one. I just went over to the daily chart. I'll show you that in a second. But I was able to catch this sell going down because Dixie told me it had an Oracle tool, the position tool that had appeared for a sell trade setup. So I said, if it's on Dixie, that means that the US pairs are going to more than likely sell and the other ones are going to buy. But I know the other ones started to buy from last week and some of the US pairs started to sell last week. The two that didn't sell this week was USD CHF and sorry, last week was USD CHF didn't start selling properly and USD JPY. That's why you saw JPY do a massive sell and now it's created the daily bearish IFVG for continuations of possible sells. So it's still telling us here that Dixie can now can still do a possible sell setup based on this one here. So it's some type of good indication that it can sell. Now, let me tell you this. If you do get into that USD JPY sell and it doesn't work, here is why I have my pivot points on the chart. So I've just got pivot points standard, might eventually code it into Neo as well. We'll see, but it's a free indicator. People that know about pivot points know anyway. Now my pivot points are set to the day to the monthly time frame. And this is a very good sign to tell you, hey, you've got to be a bit careful here. One thing I've noticed with pivot points, yeah, especially when you set them to the monthly time frame, this is all knowledge I've put in the free group as well that you can join with the link in the description, is that when price is in the middle of thin air, so basically, let's not do that one. Sorry, let's do this. When price is in the middle of thin air with these pivot points, it's a bit more sketchy for you to know whether price wants to buy or sell. But when price action actually is at a pivot point and then does the reaction you need, so starts to create a Confluence trade setup and maybe the Oracle tools appeared, now you've got an indication that, hey, this is a much better understanding that price will follow through. Because again, if we're in the sell, this sell would have been a better looking sell setup, let's just say, yeah, and let's go over to Dixie. This is where it starts from. So this is where I'm sketchy about, you'll see. So if it loses, this is my one point of call why USD JPY would lose. This one, I would rather that this setup appeared, this whole setup you can see here, yeah. I would rather what price action did, because we're in a new month, is it pushed down, went up to the P pivot here, which is a monthly midpoint resistance, basically. Then it created the daily IFVG, giving us our little Oracle tool, that's the short tool for the sell continuation. You see, because that's telling me price is holding a monthly resistance level, basically. You see? So it's not that you have to trade. I'm trading it without it because I want to hard test Neo. And remember, the win rate that's broken down in this table over here doesn't have this information coded into it. So I'm not going to start adding my own information if this is already giving me mathematical numbers. Do you understand? Guys and girls, obviously there's still losses in this, as we can see, you've got a 41% win rate. So I'm saying if it does lose, that's my one reasoning behind it, because you can clearly see that price has not pulled back to a monthly pivot zone for the continuation of the sell on Dixie. And if we go over to USD CHF now, yeah, we go over to USD CHF. This is why I closed my USD CHF trade, yeah, because what do we see over here? We see that clear as day over here. There is no if, buts, or maybes. I'm even going to switch off Neo for you just so you can see it better. So, boom. So you can see everything clean. What did price action do right here, guys and girls? I want to see it in the chat. What did price action do right here on USD CHF? Just look at this. What did price action do on USD CHF? Boom. Anyone in the chat? I want to make sure people are staying focused. These are a lot of questions people will ask me. That's why I say this stuff and I try and teach you guys and girls. And this is what something I got accused of last time. They're like, he keeps changing the strategy. I'm like, no, everyone's aim is to refine their strategy. And if I can turn that 40% win rate into a 60% win rate, 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 or whatever, RR, let's just say now, why wouldn't I do that? All right. Is this the other K? You do keep changing the strategy. If this is that K, get the hell out my Zoom. Why are you in my Zoom? Your smelly self. This is the other K. Get the hell out my Zoom. Why are you here? Go to J Take Profits or whatever his name is. The other guy. Go over there. Why are you here? I know I'm a scammer. Why are you here? I know I'm a dirty, stinking scammer. I scam everyone. This is what I do. Everyone in here is getting scammed. You didn't know that. Are you the first person to understand that? Get out of my Zoom. Get out. You must have so much time on your hands, bruv. Ridiculous. Yeah, I'm gonna die if you put voodoo on. Your voodoo will go back to you in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. In the mighty name of Jesus. If you even think of doing that, God will rebuke that. Every bit of voodoo that you try to put on me will go back to you and to your ancestry. You dirty, stinking fur wallad. It's a bad came in here and said, I'm gonna put voodoo on you. Imagine. Sicko. Can you imagine people? Can you see what I'm saying? This is what I said at the beginning of the Zoom. You see it? Sick person. Sick person. Man said they're gonna put voodoo on you over Forex, you know. Oh my God. Some people need to get a life, bruv. Don't worry, man. By the time my family just throw one thing from the motherland on their head, they will know different, fam. Mad people. Anyway, let's go back into it, yeah? Boom. So let's go. So yes, you can see this is why I closed my USD CHF trade, because I'm like, hold on a second. This don't make no sense here. We're getting a pullback and a massive pullback. And obviously, if you go and check it, price is rejected off the pivot. And it wasn't only even this pivot, it was last month's pivot right here. Boom. You see? Right there and right here. So we got a double, basically. So I was just like, yeah, and look how perfect it was, this rejection off this pivot. So I'm like, you know what? Let me get out of the trade. And I was right, because if I didn't, it would have hit my entry. So it's actually good that I came out of that trade. And that's why I made the conscious decision. Yeah. All right, let's switch this back on now. Do, 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 do. All right, cool. So where we going? Uh, where are we? Where are we? Cool. So yeah, let's go through the updates now anyway, because I've gone through some analysis and some teaching points. So this is a really cool update that we've got on Neo here. And if this is what you get when you do purchase this product, you get the opportunity to obviously give me advice. Just type pivot point standard, and it's a trading view one. It's a trading view indicator. That's where it's like, that's why I said that there isn't really much point me adding it to Neo. It's a free trading view indicator, and people have been using it for the dawn of time, really and truly. If you're aware of it, obviously, it's like a Bollinger Band or a RSI, but it's like a support and resistance, basically. But the thing is, it's not good to use it by itself. You've got to use it with a logic, so use it with a strategy. So boom. So where are we going to here? So this is some of the new updates I've added. Let me switch on this leverage calculator and move this to the right so you can see it now, guys and girls, which I think is really cool. So with this leverage calculator, let me make this a bit bigger so everyone can see it clearly. So with this leverage calculator, we can see clear as day that now what I've done is I've let it every single time one of these short or long tools appear. Yeah. We now can see the entry price. We can see the stop loss level. Of course, we could see that before. Sorry. We can obviously see this one's set to take profit free here. So it tells you take profit free here. But what is great about it now is that even though you set this to take profit free, yeah, and you work out it'll work out your risk based on that. What we see now here at the bottom is we can see that it shows you how much money you'll make at take profit one, how much money you'll make at take profit two, sorry, and how much money you'll make at take profit three as well. And it also shows you how much your loss is as well. So when you're entering a trade or putting any figures for your trade in here, in this part, you'll be able to work out everything. So you'll be able to see that, oh, if I enter this amount of risk, oh, I'm not maybe getting what I need at take profit two. Do you understand? So you'll be able to now you can customize it a little bit more better. So it just gives you that, and it even adds the risk percentage here as well and shows you exactly how much you're risking on your account, which is pretty much the same as your stop loss down there. So I think that's really, really cool. Obviously, it shows you the margin that's required to do this on your account. And the reason it's able to do this is because I have this nice part here that's added, which you can change your leverage to whatever leverage you use on your actual firm. Do you understand? So you can use whatever leverage you have and you can set it up. Always have it on manual. Don't let it do it automatically because you want to set up your specific leverage. Obviously, you can put your account size there and whatever you want to do. And now, what you can want to do with this as well, which is great. This is the next update that I've done. You've got a risk mode that you can use, which shows you for like if you're trading a prop account, it will automatically set everything up in a certain risk. So now if I do this, it will change the figures to 0.25% risk. Obviously, the prop account will have a bigger account balance. So like 100K, let's just say, and it will work out the lot size I need to use. So whatever new trade appears, so let's say USD JPY appears and I've got a 100K account, yeah, it tells me straight away what lot size I need in order for me to make the profits. So it's telling me that with 0.25% risk at TP1, I'm going to make 250. At TP2, I'm going to make 500. At TP3, I'm going to make 750. And again, remember, that's based on me using 0.25% risk. You see? So obviously I can change it here. So it does it quickly for you if you just want to pick this. I could do 0.50% risk because these are levels. So let's say you're trading originally at 1% risk on your prop account. Yeah, then you take a series of losses. You can now switch it down in the risk management calculator, and you can now work around what you've got here. So you can say, okay, let me drop back down to 0.25 for the next 3 or 4 trades. When I get back, when I make another percent and I can risk 0.5% for that trade or whatever it is, I can now push myself back up to a 1% standard risk that I was taking before on these trade setups. Do you understand? Boom, 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 boom. So now when we go over to boom, boom, boom here, this is another thing that I've added, which I think is great. Okay, this is what I want to say. So I've also created hypergrowth. Now, hypergrowth is great because this now will push your account to the extreme level. So let's change this back to something realistic. So now this account that I've got here is on 168. Yeah. So now it's telling me, let's say USD CHF came up with a trade setup now, it popped up. Yeah, with a trade setup, that's great. It's telling me the next trade I need to take in order for me. I've done the risk automatically for you, which will follow, just so you know, guys and girls, it will follow this sheet here. So we can see, boom. So the next trade I need to take, if I'm going to make 100% growth on this account, the aim is to obviously get to 1 million. So we're trying to get down here to 1 million, by the way, people. That's the realistic aim. Let's just say it's the aim. We're going to say it's the realistic aim because by God's grace, we can all manage to get there. I'm sure we all want a nice million. Yeah. Boom. So now I can just go back over to here and then look. So now it's telling me let's just make sure this is all set up right. Hyper growth, boom, 34% risk. It's saying I should take a 0.15 lot size. So here, just want to make sure this is right, and I can put no other settings on here. Manual lot size, 168, TP2, auto lot size and auto, TP3. Boom. It is supposed to here, what it is telling me, whoops, didn't want to do that. Move this back over here. What it is telling me is we're getting half of that at the moment. I don't know why it's saying that. I gotta work it out every single time. This math thing's a bit annoying at this point. But what it's supposed to do is automatically tell you at 34% risk how much we're getting. So let's just do this here, custom risk. So let's change this to 34 and that'll be 68. So let's just see if it changes. If it does change, I'll be able to code it to make it make sense, people. Let's just see. So don't worry about that. Let's just see it. Boom now. It loads up. Okay, let's put this back on custom percent risk. And this should change to, yeah, there you go. Boom. So again, you can see here, people, let's go here. The next trade I need to do needs to get me 100% risk to this. So what I probably haven't put into account when I've coded it, I haven't put into the sense that it kind of needs to either, it must need to double the risk. So I've got to double check that. But again, that's something I can fix probably in about an hour. Shouldn't be too much. But you can see what I'm saying here. So this setting, once it gets fixed, it will be able to read that, okay, whatever your balance is, it manages to increase the amount of risk. I put it as a set 34% and I thought it would just work, but it doesn't work continuously if you go up, as you just saw there. So it's great that you're seeing this because you saw that there was an issue in the last video and I managed to fix that. Basically, there was an issue with it, the maths not being right properly at the time, but technically it was. I didn't have a setting right, but now you can see it working better. And now I'm just showing you with this little one here. I'm like, okay, cool. I can see there's an issue, so I'll just go in and fix that. And this is what you get when you get the service. You get a very on the ball, ready to go service. But you get the whole point of what I'm trying to say there, basically, is that, and all I did is double it. It was like literally showing me that, okay, obviously something's wrong there. And I just doubled the percentage to 68. And now we've got the figure. So I'm able to see, and again, it will be fixed. So it automatically always adjusts for you to always get 100% growth on your account. Does that make sense to everyone that's in the Zoom? Yeah, we're all going to Thailand when we get a million, boy. We're all going there. Let's do a live Zoom, a live interactive Zoom in Thailand. But it makes sense. So you've got that set in there as well. Now, the next thing that's great is that obviously prop trade members have told me and said, oh, okay, we need some type of consistency idea. Or they said, is it possible for you to create a consistency tool? And what happens here is that a lot of members have prop firm accounts with consistency rules. So this can help you now. So obviously, every single trade that you win, you're going to be able to go to your phone or your dashboard on the internet, and you're going to be able to see how much money you made on that trading day or whatever it is. Now, if you've got a certain consistency rule percentage, this firm that the person showed me was 20%. So I'm like, okay, cool. You can put 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever the percentage, pardon me, is. Obviously, some firms are not going to have, no one's going to have 100, but I just gave the option. God knows why. If it's there, at least you got it. Yeah. And now what you can do is you can put the total profit ledger. So the total profit ledger is if it's 20%, yeah, you're basically overall, you're not supposed to go over, let's say 2000. Yeah. That's what it is. Now, for you to not go over 2000, okay, boom. Now, the next thing, obviously, if you've got a consistency rule, I'm sure you understand it. If you don't, then I believe it is whatever the percentage is. That's what makes the most sense to me. That would be 2000 here. Or it's basically based on this. If you make, I've never used it before. I want to make that clear. I've never had a prop firm with a consistency rule. So don't get me wrong if I say something wrong. I've never done it. But I'm pretty sure I've done all the settings right. And if I haven't, again, I can just amend it to whatever somebody instructs me on to be able to do. But here, basically, it's like if you've made an overall of 2000, and what's your highest profitable day? If it's 600, I use this on the figures they put on the website, basically, just to make sure it makes sense. And you can see here, if I've made 600 on my highest day, now what happens is out of that, I'm basically I'm out of the consistency rule. So if now I've got to make sure that if I've made a total profit of 2000, what happens is I can see where the consistency comes from. So if I put 300 here, it should lower it to 15%, hopefully, if that is right. There you go, boom. So now I'm consistency risk compliant. So it lets me know that I shouldn't be making more. I believe you shouldn't be making more than 300 every day. I believe it's something like that. Again, you can quote me if I'm wrong, and I can fix it if I'm wrong. It's not a problem. I've never used it before, consistency rule. But this is basically it. It's basically telling you that you're only supposed to make a certain amount per trade. Basically, you can't one day make 200, then the next day make 1.5. I don't even know how that works. I think what happens is that, let's say you're in a trade and you're supposed to make 300 a day. Let's just say you get slipped and you make 600 because there was such a big move. That extra 300 profit won't get paid out to you. I don't know if they'll ban you on an account for it, but it won't get. I know for sure if they're not going to ban you, they just won't pay you that extra 300 that you made. So if you make 600 in a day, but you're only within your consistency rule allowed to make 300 a day, you will not get paid the extra 300, or you might actually get banned. It depends on the prop firm and their rules. Do you understand? But I've added this tool in there. Now, if you don't have this, you can easily just switch this off. And when you switch this off, what it's going to do straight away is it's going to make the table smaller right there. You see? So it's going to make the table smaller for you guys and girls. So you're able to have this in here. So I think this is a nice little cool upgrade for people that have prop firm accounts and have consistency rules. If it's not on the website, you can obviously just do it straight in Neo. And again, if you are a consistency rule trader, you're going to know how to use this best. I've just coded it with its basic knowledge of what they ask for and how they show the examples in the consistency rules. So now with these examples, I'm able to just basically make it there for you so you can use this to be able to do it if the prop firm doesn't already have it on the website. It's just a nice little tool that you can have. So I will ask, has anyone got any questions so far while I'm just checking this? Anyone's got, there was the other question you had, Miguel. You said something. I can't remember what that question was. If you can show me. Looking for Miguel's question quickly. There's a question he said. He said something else to consider. Something else to consider is the amount of consecutive trades, losers or winners. Okay, for proper counts. So do you mean this is the question I'm going to ask you, and that's actually a good one, which I could code to this. Do you mean the win rate table? Yeah, let's just make it bigger for everyone to be able to see here. Win rate, win rate. Normal. So do you mean for the win rate table over here? Yeah, the one on the left. Let's make this large so everyone can see it. Boom. That's actually a very good point. So I'm going to scroll back down in the chat because I can't see. I don't know if you said yes to what I just said now, but yeah, do you mean for the win rate table, you'd like to see how many consecutive winners in a row and how many consecutive losers? Let me know, because if so, I can actually put that in there. I can actually do that. Is that what you mean? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So that'll be the next update. Thank you, Miguel. You see, this is how cool the service is, and this is what I'm saying. You ain't gonna get this from no one else. Being able to talk to them and then get updates like that. That's actually very good. That's something I need to know. So you're actually very correct with that, Miguel. Like I said, I don't mind doing updates as long as they're within reason. He came up with something very logical that makes sense for us to be able to break down the maths on how we're gonna make our long-term money or pass up accounts and certain things like that. And I was thinking, what else do I need here? But obviously, doing all the coding and stuff, you just forget certain ideas you have, if that makes sense. But yeah, it makes sense. How can I get the second box BOS? Okay, all you need to do is the same as that thing. So, what you need to do here, follow, you need to just go to your settings and then you need to you need to click here, yeah, and then you need to go to copy, yeah, on your the one you already have. So if I go to it's command and V, but if I press on Windows, it'll be control and V, but for me it's command and V. Notice another Neo appears. So when the next Neo appears, what you want to do is go to your settings, yeah, and then change your settings to a different mode. But then having everything the same again, you can literally just switch off pretty much the majority of the stuff on here. Switch off the majority of the stuff because you don't need everything twice on your chart. All you want to see is that once this table's appeared here, yeah, then this table's also, it should be reading it, even if you switch off certain things, it'll be reading this, and then so once you change it to aggressive mode, so I've got one table that shows my IFVG, and then obviously we were using these entries at first, and if you want to, you can use these TP levels, everything. They're coded based on an IFVG happening. So it'll put your entry at like the start of the IFVG, the midpoint, or the bottom or the top, depending on the trade. And then it's the same for the break of structure. It'll put your entry at the top of it, the bottom of it. There's the midpoints, and it's the same thing. It's just basically showing you the working out and giving you a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio based on that. So it literally does that, and it does it between 3 timeframes for you. But the main reason why is because I like to obviously see my bullish breakout structures as well as my IFEGs at the same time, literally. So that's why I've got two tables. So if you just do that, and in the second table, pretty much switch off everything, just the part, you'll just be able to see a table and it should be there. But if you have a little play around with it, you should be fine. And then what you want to do is make sure you put your table on the change where your table is displayed. So table position, you can see here, you want to change your table to the bottom right. Yeah. So one table should be top right, the other should be bottom right. Does that answer your question, follow? Cool. All right. What we're going to do now is we're just going to quickly go through all the pairs. If you've got any questions whilst I'm going through the pairs, let me know. Um, cool. So we've got that. Cool. Oh, that's what I want to switch off. All right, cool. No worries. That's fine. That's fine. All right, cool. So let's go through the pairs. Let's go to USD JPY and see if it created the box for us. If it did for a sell trade. Nope. So we haven't got it. So if we haven't got it, that means the confluence hasn't been met somewhere. So double check that. It could be that we're just waiting, but keep your eye on USD JPY. It might be just waiting for the market to move a bit because the market's only opened like 13 minutes ago. So just keep looking at USD JPY, but nothing's there at the moment. So that means some of the other boxes might not even be there as well. So I would definitely say probably give it like 30 minutes to an hour. The market moves a bit funny when it first opened, just for the boxes. Maybe it's got to wait for the first candle to just close, basically. It is set to when the first candle opens, but it's the market. I'll say just give it a second. So I'm just gonna check from the top. So this is all I literally do. I just literally do this. I'm gonna switch off the pivot points because it's gonna make my chart squeeze together. Um, boom. And I'm just gonna check if there's any boxes. If you've got any questions in the time being, please let me know. Okay, here we go. Bingo. So we've got our first box here. So I'm gonna actually enter this trade now. You can enter this trade with me, people, if you want to. It's up to you. I'm gonna enter it on my small test account for Neo. Give me a second. I'm not gonna put in no values. I'm just gonna enter it in my accounts. And this is just a simple raw test of Neo, basically the raw test of Neo. Let's just see here quickly. Let's have a little bit of fun. I'm not setting no TP values, no nothing. I'm just entering the trade. I can do all of that after. Let's change this to a 1-to-1. Let's just see what the win rate is. Let's change it to 1-to-2. Let's be realistic. Yeah, because we can do 1-to-1, but we're not going to do that. We're going to at least take the trades to 1-to-2. So the win rate is at least a 40% on a 1-to-2, and that's not too bad. A 1-to-2 R. So give me a sec. I got to enter in two accounts. I've made a new account for my wife as well. Hold on. Cross and JPY and chart. And then I'm just going to put 0.01. Yeah, let's see how much I've got. So I'm not doing hyper. I am doing hyper growth in this in theory, but because I'm trading multiple pairs, I have to be careful. The risk is definitely got to be different. You can't set the risk to just be one pair. The risk to do your 100% trade because there might be multiple pairs. This is why. So I'm just waiting on this. So here, okay. So now I can see why. Boom. So you see that the box just disappeared there, but the IFVG's turned to two. Remember, I told you the market is just moving at the moment. Could be that as well. So I'm just gonna double check. This is why it's probably best to maybe even wait until like an hour before the market does it. So I'll double check it because the market's doing that thing. You know, when the market does that thing where it's moving up and down fast? I don't know if you've paid attention to that, guys and girls, before. As soon as the market opens for the first hour, it's going to start doing that thing where it moves. Like when it's closed, it could still be moving up and down fast. So that might add an effect to this as well. But boom. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to close this CAD JPY. Yeah, close. Cool. So if anyone did enter CAD JPY, just close it. Obviously, you shouldn't have lost too much money. It's only a couple of pence or pounds. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to mark this pair. So let me get rid of all of these. Unflag, yes. And we're just going to put a yellow marker on CAD JPY. Yeah. Well, we'll put a actual marker so we know it was a buy, not a sell that appeared. So we're going to put that there. Boom. And now we're just going to keep going through the pairs. You can just keep going through it with me. Yeah. Going to the next pair. Okay, cool. Remove drawings. Okay. Cool. So this is what I literally just do, guys and girls. Even if I don't have to set an alert, I just do this and just go through it. And then I'm one of those people that I might check it now. I might check it again by in another 2 hours just to double make sure that nothing bugged out. There was no glitches or anything, just to make sure. At the end of the day, you're trying to make money here. So you got to have some type of time to do things. You can set alerts, by the way, people. You can set alerts for the confluences, and then the alerts on the confluences will tell you what pairs to look for. And then you can go to that pair and see if it's got one of these long or short tools there. So you don't have to do this. But again, I'm trying to make money here, people. So I will take the extra time to just do this. I'm just trying to show people my process so they get it. So I don't know, is if some pairs have a D is the best. Yeah, yeah, of course. No, I do get that as well. I do get that. And I might add more variations to the A, B to D grade because I've made it based on like the basic settings of what I have. But obviously over time, the system is going to teach me better things to do. So you might get that changing over time. Obviously, if I change it, I'll let you know. I might have it that we've got the old D grade settings, but I also want to have a new version of the D grade settings. And guess what? We're going to know if the new version works better because we could just put it against the win rate table. You understand? Okay. No. You see how the table sometimes the table has to load, so don't just go through the pairs fast. Take your time. Just take your time for a second because remember it is almost 3,000 lines of code, so you have to bear with it. Like it is trying its best. It is trying its best to do it. So it's a lot of lines of code. If you want all this stuff added to it, one indicator is, you're asking for a lot of processing power, basically, is what I'm saying. So Okay. 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 Nope. The obvious thing I like to have on the chart, people, is the IFVGs. When it gives me the IFVGs, then I know it's great because if it's giving me the IFVG, then that's a good sign. So I can visually see them as well. So even if the table is lagging a bit, you'll know like this one straight away. I can say, okay, there is an IFVG. So what's missing here? I can already see that it's not got the other confluence of the daily break of structure here, basically. So it needs at least a daily break of structure as well, or it needs at least I believe it's a new 4 hour break of structure. So yeah, this is more than likely why we're not getting the short and long tool appearing here at the moment. So it might appear later for the setup, but it should pretty much appear. I've set it up because you want it to be ready for the start of the day, but it could appear on GBP JPY. And again, you would get that alert. That's why I said set up your alerts because you get it. Because if these change, then you're more than likely going to get a bearish confluence appear. And so if you've got your alert set on your confluences just to show people that you can do this, so you're not missing stuff as well. You can just go to your alerts and you can actually say, look, you can make a watch list so this has all the pairs you trade within there. And then you can literally just go to your alerts and then you can put any bullish A plus to D grade, give me an alert, any of these. Because really and truly, you want to be trading any of the boxes that appear, and they should only appear if one of these grade trades are there. So this is why GJ is not giving us an entry, even though there is a bearish IFVG here. Do you understand what I'm saying on the daily? So GJ is one that I'm going to put here and just mark it out as a possible sell. GBP New Zealand still was selling. We got the entry from last week, Friday, I think it was. So still holding its sell at the moment. This one. It's done at least a 1 to 2 R. And that was a trade we got on a Friday as well, by the way, people. So like I said, this does this all automatically for you guys and girls. You don't have to stress, literally. I'm just going through this just to double make sure. And like I said, I could have set alerts. And if I set alerts, I can just do that and then post the trades that you could take in the free group. Let's just see. So the market's pretty quiet at the moment. Remember, we're in December. So this buy trade did come up yesterday. Now, this is something I do want to mention in this, which is pretty funny. Um, get this out of the way first. Give me a second. I'm still in this buy trade, by the way, people, even though it did tap its small little tiny stop loss. Remember, I don't trade with a stop loss. So, no, what's that? What was it? There we go. All right, let's just move the information box out of the way so you can see what I'm going to say here. So obviously for a buy trade to be triggered here, the price needs to be retest the top of this Oracle zone, or it needs to basically be at the top of this Oracle zone. Now you can see price action was inside the Oracle zone before it came out. So this is why we didn't more than likely get this buy trade set up. There is a setting for you for it to change that, but again, that affects your win rate. So we can see a 1 to 2. This has already come up with 35. If you change it to 1 to 1, it'd be better, more than likely. Let me just double check my settings. If you used to change this to best entry, it would have picked up this trade, I believe so. Let's see. From lower, standard, all grade, breakout entry. Let's just change this to best entry quickly and see if it picks it up. Let's just see. Okay, best entry didn't push it down too much. It didn't push it down too much. So yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But what happened, like I said, is because price action went down first before actually coming up. Usually what happens is price action will be above and then pull back into it. So because the way price action is, this is why this has appeared like this. So we'll go back to best entry. And this is today's box. Yesterday's box would have been smaller. It should have been smaller. So I'll double check that. Let me just double check this here. Okay, it's all about transparency. I'm not trying to sell you nothing that doesn't work, or even if there is a bug, we get it fixed. You know what I mean? Within reason. But yeah, there you go. So you see the box was smaller yesterday. That's why the stop loss is there. So you can see what happened here. As soon as the market pretty much it gapped down, this is why it happened like this. So it's giving you a trade setup, but on the market close, it gapped down basically. So as it's opened and we're moving forward, I believe so. Yeah, as we're moving forward, this is what's happened. Price action's pulled through this. So price has never been in the box or above it. Basically, that's why we got the trade setup weird like that. So you can see as soon as it broke above it, now we've got the indication of this buy, but now we're in the moving move. So it's a bit mad because what would have happened, what should have happened here, or at least if you're a bit of a better trader, you would have realized that, okay, my stop loss is very tight here. I'm not saying you couldn't have done that and it could have bought. Yes, it could have held it and bought. But realistically, the better stop loss would be, this is why we have these extra things on Neo, just in case, boom, your stop loss would have been better behind the lower low. Do you understand? So if it does buy, you would have seen that you wouldn't have got your little wick stop out here because your stop loss was behind the lower low that you can clearly see on Neo. You're not guessing, it's clearly there telling you, hey, your lower low structure point is here. So for you to have a bit more of a realistic stop loss rather than this super tight stop loss that you're trying to make, the most amount of money in the world on, that would have been a better place. But it's cool if it loses, isn't it? It is what it is. Um, let's just do this. So I'm still in this trade. You can see it's currently running. Let's just see if it does make money today. I'll post it. So the market's just moving really slow at the moment. This is what it tells me because we're hardly seeing any trades. I don't think there was NFP this week as well because we're in December. I don't think there was NFP when I checked on the news. Remember that, guys and girls, we are in December, so if the market starts moving a bit slow, it's understandable. So saying this one was a loss from yesterday. But again, you see it did the same thing because it did that gap. This is why you're getting this weird little setup with this short stop loss. Do you understand? Because it did the push down first. So sometimes it might do that. So be careful if you see that. And that's not the box's fault. 'Cause remember, it's set to a certain value. If it does this gap, I don't know if I could code something in there to make that better. I can obviously try. But when it does do this little gap, you could get that. And that could even be a reason why we're taking some losses unnecessarily with the win rate calculator. Do you understand? Because when the market gaps, so that's something I could look into as well. That if the market gaps, then put your stop loss below the last lower low or the last higher low or whatever. Do you understand? I could code that into there, but we'll look into that. It's all about a progression with it. So US 30, I'm going for the selling that. Nothing there. USD CAD. Nothing. USD CAD would have been a beautiful trade last week. It gave us our entry from here, but price never tapped back into it. It actually tapped into the zone that was here, just to show people there was another zone here that was there, and just to show you. So it decided to use the lower zone that was here. It never created, if the zone was higher, it more than likely would have pulled back there. But because it had this zone here that you see, boom, can you see? Because it had this zone here and it already gave us our entry from the previous day from up there, from where it is, that's why it just said, hey, no, we're not going to hold there. Look how it held this zone beautifully and then sold down. Can you see? Boom. So this was a nice trade, USD CAD, but you can't catch every trade. We all know that. Some trades are just gonna miss because it just decides to fly away. Cool. So USD CHF, no. USD JPY. Let's go to this one. Nope, nothing there yet. Yep, it's not set up right now. There's a reason why it's not picking it up of yet. I'm gonna check again in another hour. If it doesn't pick up the trade, then it doesn't pick up the trade. Regardless of what it is. You just don't trade it. It doesn't matter what happens. US oil, no. This was a beautiful trade on silver, by the way, the last one that came through. Look at this. So we had this entry, it tapped back into this zone. I think it was here, yeah, tapped back into this zone here on Thursday. And look at the buy trade it produced. This is what you're getting, people. And remember, I've switched off the values. I'll switch this back on. So boom, switch this back on. The labels, where are they? Yeah. Let's just let this come back on now. Boom. But this was a buy trade that would have gave you the entry. Nice, beautiful, beautiful trade setup. This one was. Cool. So yeah, exactly how I was right. So remember, I told you in the Zoom at the beginning, I said the new Oracle zone could be within here. So this is giving us an indication that price could hold this level and continue to buy it, especially if you're seeing it breaking the higher high structure. That's a good indication that price action can continue to buy. So if you get any of these big boxes that appear in the background, I said it in the last Zoom as well, all that needs to happen is you just need to either switch off your strategy mode tester or you change your risk to reward. I'm just going to change my risk to reward to one for the sake of it because I can change it at any time. If I'm about to enter a pair, I can change it back to one, two, or three just to see the win rate on that pair as well. You can see when you put a 1 to 1, it's got a 66% win rate, gold. But yeah, boom, we've got the Oracle zone in here as well. And like I said, if price action goes up and breaks a higher high, that means they want to continue with buy structure. So yeah, that's every single pair. Gold is always my last pair. So has anyone got any questions before I leave this out? Because yeah, that's literally it. There's no trade setups at the moment. Again, obviously the market's just moving slow. We are in December. We just have to wait. There's a reason why people don't trade December, but I think it will move. I just think we just got to wait for price action to give us our moves. Literally. Anybody got any questions before I close the Zoom? No problem. Hopefully these Zooms are helping you out as well. Obviously, I'm putting it out there on YouTube so we get more people in the community. That's why I'm doing it. I want more people to join the community back up to understand. I think if we all got the product and we're all been able to trade it, this was my ultimate goal from day one. It makes it very simple. There's not many questions that need to be asked rather than, oh, what does this mean? Rather than what do I do now? I've tried to eradicate what do I do now. I want it to be more what does this mean? Because maybe they don't understand why something is somewhere. They might not even know what an IFVG is. Do you understand? So the what do I do now, I think is the best one to eradicate. And that's what we're getting. So, like I said, remember, just keep it in mind. We are in December. Within this week and next week, most of the big players are going to be out of the market for December. So it is what it is. But I think it's a good thing for us to have a little preview of that's what we've got at the moment, so we know that oh, if it's doing some good results in December, then I don't see why not in January, February, March. I'm not going to see amazing results. Do you know what I mean? Especially when we get into the end of Q1, there usually is a breakout towards the end of every quarter of the year. So when we start seeing those huge breakouts, like we saw this March as well, when EU did like 500 pip buys and those trades, we're going to see some crazy trades. So yeah, that's it, guys and girls. You've seen the updates. I've given you my analysis and my review. I'm just leaving it there for you. And yeah, I'll either catch you tomorrow or the day after again. Yeah. No worries, people. You have a good one, yeah? I'll see you later.